NSV Exhausted Concordance. This is the question. How do you truly study the Bible? Well, the scriptures tell us straightway how we should study. Now, when we study the Bible, this is an NRSV Exhaustive Strong's Concordance. It includes the Apocryphal and Deuterochronical books, the complete and unabridged version. I want to go ahead and I'm going to go through this one today. Another one that you can get that I love, that you have to have here, is going to be the Strong's Concordance. This is the New Strong's Expanded Exhaustive Concordance. And so we'll go through this on the second part, but I want to go through the first one first, and we can get these books on Amazon. So let's go look at these books and let's see exactly what these books have to offer. So how do we truly study the Bible? If you go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 28, the prophet Isaiah said this in verse 9, "Whom shall he teach knowledge, and whom shall he make to understand doctrine? Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast," which simply means you got to get the basics first and get the understanding of the words first. This is why you need a Strong's or an exhaustive concordance. Then it says in verse 10, "For precept must be upon precept, line upon line, here a little and there a little." This is how you learn the Bible. You can't read Exodus, Leviticus, you can't go in order, folks. So what you need to do is let the Holy Spirit guide you here a little and there a little. This is truly how you learn the scriptures. Now, when you start reading these books and when you get these Strong's Concordance, one thing you'll learn, the NRSV, one thing I love about it is if you go in the back, it has the teachings and illustrations of Yeshua. And what it does is it's a quick way to go ahead and pull your scriptures up so you know exactly a lot of his teachings and his illustrations. So this is one example of why you really need to get the exhaustive concordance so that you can take the shortcuts. So when you study, you can go to certain areas and know exactly what you're looking for. Now, I'm going to give you another example of how important this is. Here you have the Jewish calendar. Not only that, it's got the names, also the dates corresponding with the number of days, the months of the civil year. It says months of the second year. And we also have the feast days here, folks. So this is why this is NRSV Exhaustive Concordance is so important. Now, of course, with the Hebrew Israelites and our people, we do some of these dates change. Remember, man's changed times, dates, and he's also changed years. And the maps, a lot of the landmarks that you see today on earth are not the same. A lot of the places that are in the Bible were actually taken and put to other areas, so it would throw you off. So a lot of things have changed, but here you can kind of get the basics on the feast days, the calendars, the days of the month, and their names in Hebrew. Now, I used to always wonder when I would go through the Bible and I would hear these biblical terms on money and manna and shekels and gera and, denarius and copper, coins and quadrants, and I never knew what they meant. Well, right here, when you get this NRSV Exhaustive Concordance, it breaks down. Let me give an example. A talent is actually 91 pounds, it says in Troy. Silver, which it equates to $21,840 in silver, and in gold it would equate to $1,092,000. So that's what a talent would be. It's 91 pounds. Manna, or 60 minas, 18.2 ounces in Troy. Silver, 364. Gold, it would equate to 18,200. A shekel, it says a talent is actually 300 shekels. So 3,000 shekels would actually equal a talent. So let's keep going here. Gera, what is a gera? Gera is 60,000 geras, which equals 1,000 geras, or 20 geras. So this kind of breaks down the way when we would look at money, exactly what it meant. Denarius, which is 1 day's wage. A copper coin, 16 copper coins would be what, a 1 and 1/16 day's wages. Quadrants, 64 pennies. Copper coin is 4 pennies, which would equal 1 1/4 day's work. So right here, we can see a lot of the breakdown of the monies. This is why, folks, you got to get these. So when you have these questions in the Bible, you can come here and you get answers. Okay, here's another example. These are the parables of Yeshua. And right here, you got the lamps under the basket. Give an example, the hidden treasures, the unforgiving servant, the wicked, vine dressers, the wedding feast, the fig tree, the good Samaritan, a friend in need is a friend indeed, the rich fool, the faithful servant. So you also got in here Lazarus. Remember Lazarus? and the rich man. So all of these are here. And what it does is gives you the quick route to go right to the scriptures, so you don't have to sit there and guess. That's why this book is very, very, very imperative. Now, let's think about this for a minute. A lot of times we have questions and we don't know where to actually go. So when you go in the back of this book, let's think about it. If you have a question about anger, you can go to Matthew 5:24. Actually, anger is actually Matthew 5:22. Anxiety, you can go to Luke 12:22 through 31. If you want to learn about apostles, go to Luke 11:49. Well, let's see something. How about adultery? You can go to Matthew 5:27-20. So a lot of these things that you have concerns or questions about death. If you want to talk about David, darkness. If you want to talk about dullness, duty, the earth, earthquakes, the economy. All of these things that you have questions and you want to do a lesson, or if you want to talk about it, you can go in the back, you can pick that title, go to those scriptures, and it'll take you right there so you can get it according to the scriptures, not according to your heart. Now, let me read something to you, because folks, I want you to get this. This is why you got to study this book to show yourself to be approved. This is why you need these Strong's Concordance. I'm going to read Hebrews chapter 11. It says, "Now faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. For by it the elders obtained" what? A good report. Verse 3, "Through faith we understand that the worlds were formed by the word of Elohim, so that things which are seen were not made of things which do appear." Verse 4, "By faith Abel offered unto Elohim a more excellent sacrifice than Cain, by which he obtained witnesses that he was righteous, Elohim testifying of his gifts, and by it he being dead yet he spoke. By faith Enoch was translated that he should not see death, and was not found, because Elohim had translated him. For before his translation he had the testimony that he pleased Elohim. But without faith it is impossible to please him. For he that comes from Elohim must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that do" what? Diligently seek him, folks. And you must diligently seek him. And this is what we're trying to say right now. Get these Strong's Concordance and make sure when you go through these books and read that you break these words down. Hebrews 11 verse 7. It says, "By faith Noah, being warned of Elohim of things not seen as yet, moved with fear and prepared an ark to the saving of his house, by which he commanded the world and became heir of righteousness, which is by" what? Belief. Folks, you got to get these books. You got to understand that right now the Lord's hand is coming back again. He's coming back this time. There's no ark. The only ark is the one that you're walking around in. That vessel that you call, he calls his church, his temple. We have to study, get our faith up so that we can show ourselves to be approved. Verse 8. "By faith Abraham, when he was called to go out into a place which he should after receive for an inheritance, obeyed, and he went out, not knowing whither he went. By faith he sojourned in the land of the promise, as in a strange country, dwelling in the tabernacles with Isaac and with Jacob, with heirs of him who were the same promise. For he looked for a city which has foundations, whose builder and maker is Elohim. Through faith also Sarah herself received strength and conceived seed, and was delivered of a child when she was past age, because she judged him faithful who had promised. Therefore sprang there even of one, and him as good as dead, so as many as the stars in the sky in the multitude, and as the sand which is by the seashores innumerable. These all died in faith, not having received the promise, but having seen them afar off, and were persuaded of them, and embraced them, and confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims." Where? On the earth. Folks, we're pilgrim on this earth. We're strangers. So now that we've seen exactly how you should be studying and exactly some of the things that are in these Strong's Concordance books, now you can get a deeper understanding of these are main tools that you need. A sword. This is how you cut it. You need this sword. And as I said before, we're going to go the next time through the new Strong's Concordance, which is a must also that you get on Amazon. This is the Hebrew and the Greek translations of words. So, when you study to show yourself to be approved, remember, precept by precept, line by line, here a little, there a little. With stammering lips, they will utter these. So this is how this works. We must read the forward and the latter. Don't read everything in order. Don't go Genesis, Leviticus, Exodus, Numbers. Don't do that. The Holy Spirit will guide you forward and backwards. This is truly